Welcome to Kathryn Raaker's World. Innovation, culture, adventure, fashion and health, artists, destinations, traditions. This is Kathryn Raaker's World.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Kathryn Raaker's World and our syndicated TV show, and Let's Just Talk, our syndicated radio show. I have the honor of having on Nelson Cover, who wrote the book, All Mortal Greatness, and it's part of a series, actually. And I want to tell you a little bit about his background. He graduated from San Francisco State University with a master's in English. He formerly worked as the associate and then director of annual giving at the Johns Hopkins Institutions, director of development and executive director of the Cancer Research Foundation and the University Chicago's Pritzker School of Medicine, and director of development at Washington National Cathedral, and director of development at the American Enterprise Institute, and it goes on and on and on. So we want to talk today about not just his career from the past, but outside of the successful career. Nelson is an avid cyclist, car enthusiast, and dog lover. He's written 4 novels: Danced by the Light of the Moon, From the Midst of Wickedness, A Matter of Circumstance, All Mortal Greatness, and a collection of short stories, Truth, Lies, and Deceit. All Mortal Greatness is the 3rd in his Sessions University series, and he currently resides in Florida with his wife. Welcome to our show today. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Well, Nelson, I started to read your book. I've gotten maybe a page or 2, but I've been kind of busy. So I will.
It happens.
Get done.
Yeah.
I'd really like to have the physical book, actually. And if you decide you want to send that to me, I would really appreciate it.
I will do that today.
Oh, good. So we'll swap books, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what inspired you to write this book? But let's talk a little bit about the series itself.
Sure.
Would you mind doing that?
No problem. In 2014, I'd finished my first novel, and one way to try to figure out what you want to do next is to begin to write short stories. So over a period of weeks, I started thinking about this short story, and out of the blue came these 2 characters, one a university professor, the other his best friend, a cancer researcher at the medical center. And they just clicked. So I wrote a short story called Zoltan's Lie, which is available in Truth, Lies, and Deceit, the collection of short stories. And these characters just jumped. They were so lifelike, and their interaction was so great, humor, everything. I thought, I've got to find a bigger platform for them. So after some thinking, I came up with 2 scandals that had occurred in my professional life that I was aware of. And I combined them into a plot for the first novel, From the Midst of Wickedness. And that's how they originated. And then I had a character in my first novel, a fellow named Mark Berger. I moved him forward 15 years to the university, had him become a billionaire, and be incoming chairman of the board. And so when I went to write All Mortal Greatness, all these things came together, and I didn't really think I was going to write a third novel, excuse me. And but the characters kept bugging me. Dialogue, scenes, etc. They were real pests. They would not leave me alone. And so finally I said, okay, I better figure out how this is all going to work. And plot, villains, circumstance, suspense, humor even. And the book came together.
Well, that's kind of pretty exciting in itself. And how long did it take you to write it?
This one, 4 years. And 4 years, it's called Pandemic and Broken Femur.
Oh, this is the new one that's coming out?
Yes.
Oh my
No,
gosh, 4
this is the one
years.
that, this is, yeah, 4 years.
Wow. Can't wait
I
to read
use
that one.
the first two took 2 years apiece.
Well, there was a lot of research in each one of these. Am I correct?
Yes. Well, first of all, I have university experience. I had a number of clients in our business. I ran my own company for 30 years with nonprofit organizations. And so had that background. And then in terms of this book,
Uh-huh.
I did a lot of research on drones because the assassin character involved there uh, manufactures his own drones. And what you learn by research is that anyone who's really inventive and brilliant can do almost anything with drones. Look at the Ukraine. Every month we hear about another drone that they've invented. And so the other thing I researched a good deal of was the FBI, because we do have an FBI character in there that kind of takes over very much the part of the third part of the novel. And I wanted to know about their culture, what they do well, what they don't do so well, future leadership, past leadership. And so that takes a while.
I believe it does because I remember how long it took us. And the first book I wrote was only like 3 months. The second book I wrote, which is really the pure series, the beginning of the series, actually took about a year because I co-wrote it with my son. So I can't wait to read these because they excite me for what the genre is,
Yes.
if that
Yes.
makes sense.
People don't know what goes on at universities.
They
It's not
don't.
the ivory tower any longer, folks.
No.
They're part of the industrial military complex, and much the same without being regulated. Everybody else is regulated. They aren't.
That's
So
the
it's a
truth.
bit free reign.
And I can't, in the last couple of years, I can't believe what's gone on. And I have another client that was a university professor, and he's enlightened me unbelievably, right? So
Absolutely.
people think it's just a bunch of I don't know what. I don't know what the conception is but I think it's changed quite a bit. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, the humanities are frankly fought. It's great things. The humanities are still the humanities, but science, research, in all fields is not the ivory tower anymore.
Right.
You have sponsored research programs, which are secret completely, big line
Mhm.
item in many university budgets. You have contracts that are research contracts that are being written by corporations, maybe in foreign governments, other entities, cause organizations who fund professors who knows everything about those contracts.
Right. Is this book reflective of your own time spent at the university? Would you say that?
Well, to some degree, because I'm obviously attended universities, but also in my business, we had numerous university college clients, and then I worked in Washington for a medical center in Chicago, and I had cause clients, policy clients in Washington D.C. So you begin to get a holistic impression of how all that works and who are the good guys, who are the bad guys, and what might go wrong at any one of these institutions.
How would you define the word greatness?
Well, I think in this world, we all see greatness every day on TV, unfortunately, perhaps. But those that have who have great attainment have accomplished major things, whether it
Uh-huh.
be everything from religion through industry to government, et cetera, who the public may know about because of their reputation. That kind of defines greatness in our society today. And the issue is, and there are individuals whose interest in serving the public or their cause is much greater than their interest in themselves. But it seems more often these days we have leaders who are simply interested in self-service or an agenda. And that's where things begin to go astray, because you take power, you combine it with ambition and greed, and what you get is corruption.
That's right. And there's a lot of it out there today.
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately. And we're paying for it. That's the unfortunate part about it.
Absolutely.
How would you, are you doing another book in the same series? Or is
Yes.
this the end of the series?
No, this is number 4 is underway. On this one, I would hope to see it in 2 years. One never
I hope
knows.
so, for your sake.
The creative process is a strange process.
Oh, I know.
You never quite know. You may think you're in charge, but your characters are quick to let you know that you really aren't. So it's a very strange process. I try to live it an hour and a half, maybe 3 to 5 days a week, and then I go around the rest of the time acting like a normal human. But it's very different.
Love it. A normal human. Well, I tend to do that myself because once you do this, you feel like it's like you're being swallowed into the character or the project or whatever. And
Very true.
working in nonprofits, you really give your time, right?
That's right. And one of the reasons we always like to think that we were the little guy selling against the big companies. And the best thing we had to say was, the people who are here today are going to be the people who are working with you.
That's right.
And you have to absorb that mission of that organization and make it your own. Otherwise, you're a pretender, and that doesn't work well.
Mm-hmm. We're going to take a short break here, if you don't mind, and we'll be right back with Nelson Cover and his new book, All Mortal Greatness, and which is a novel in his series, university series. We'll be right back. We are back with Nelson Cover and his new novel, All Mortal Greatness. And, one of the questions, Nelson, that I want to ask you is, do you believe there are people who are able and willing to fight corruption?
All the time. Whistleblowers are going to be our saviors. We have a situation in Florida, I won't go into it, but where a whistleblower in the Department of Environmental Policy let it be known that the state was planning to build golf courses in all our state parks, or many of our state parks, I should say. And the hue and cry that erupted was amazing. So that's a perfect example of somebody who they lost their job immediately. That's a perfect example of somebody who says, this is not right. I'm going to do something about it.
And what technology did you research while writing your book or your books?
Well, drones in particular, as I mentioned. And drones kind of lead everywhere because it's technology in terms of computer, the wireless transmissions, phone, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you need to begin to, I read annual reports, numerous articles, as much as I could find. And this field is moving so fast. It's remarkable.
I mean, you can just see what happened yesterday and wonder how they did it. I mean, you got to be 2 or 3 steps ahead of them, right?
Well, some people are, yes.
Some people are. So
including my villain.
Your villain? Okay. So what inspired the idea to write in a parallel universe?
Well, first of all, try to write about it. Being a writer and imaginative and inventing things, try to write about a regular university. That's probably going to get you sued. We leave the current turmoil to the journalists. And, we saw turmoil in the 70s. We saw turmoil currently. And I think it's actually a changing mechanism. It will help change universities for the better. But I see a whole set of problems that I dealt with below the current turmoil that I want to get at. And that is that these institutions, being part, as I said, of the military and industrial technological process here, have programs and actions and schemes that that underlay all the current turmoil. And I wanted to have a book where the values are not just transitory, of today, where it really gets at problems that universities have for the future and over the decades. And I see them. I know they're there. I lived with some of them, and there is corruption in some cases. Now, look, you have great universities that operate brilliantly and well, but some occasionally go astray, either through the administration. And think of this, universities have no regulatory agency. If something goes wrong in the administration, a scheme gets found out, or there's a big loss of some kind, administration could just sweep it under the rug. The board principally knows only what the university is telling them. So unless somebody whistleblows, there is no correction. And so that's really what the nexus of this novel is. And I should add that one of the things I try to do in all my novels is have my characters be as intriguing in their interactions, family lives, etc., as the mystery itself. And so that's probably, of all things, the thing I'm most pleased about. And if you read the reviews, don't take my word for it. If you read the reviews, that's what most people enjoy the most about reading these novels.
And that's what is so exciting about your actually series and whatever, is that you're keeping people on the edge of their seat. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. There are a lot of twists and turns in these books. Some of them I didn't think of. My characters thought of. But you get to a point where you go, oh my God, that's what happens next. And the characters lead the way. So, pardon me. So absolutely, you'll be very surprised at a lot of endings, at the ending in particular, and of a lot of things that twist and turn during the course of this novel. Hopefully it's very entertaining, as well as having a deeper meaning and cause to learn about.
How did your main trio of characters originate?
Well, I mentioned Thomas and Zoltan getting together in that short story, and Mark Berger coming along. When we got to this third novel, they work hand in glove. And what happened in this third novel is that everything appeared to be going normal in a new semester of a new academic year. And suddenly, in one afternoon, the admissions office is ransomware attacked, and the acting president walking along the university drive is assassinated by a drone. Are these issues connected? We don't know till much later. And this means that our characters, Thomas and Zoltan and Mark Berger, must again get together and help solve this unwarranted murder. Part of the reason for that is that they know the background of the university, and that very quickly actually identifies a villain. But the authorities, not knowing what they know, it's just another lead, and they don't believe it. And so these guys are forced to try to figure out things for themselves. The villain is very, very quirky and very tricky, and is moving around all the time, and they can't find him, and things keep happening. So it's that kind of suspense.
What do you believe that ambition results in bad outcomes? And we see so much of this in today's world that it's absolutely frightening when you think about it.
Exactly. One of the things that bothers me most, and it's in the novels, is that these characters with power can get away with terrible acts, plots, schemes, as occur in these three novels. And instead of suffering consequences, they go on and even are elevated in spite of their deeds. It's just, I mean, I saw this all the time, and it really bothers me. The other thing you see, and I recognize this after three novels, in particular, is that one act of evil in the first novel ripples through the rest of these novels and helps destroy families. It has an impact on almost all the characters. And so this one murder masqueraded as a suicide takes on a life of its own, and you see that evil resonates and keeps going way past the act of it. And that is really, that to me is very disturbing. And we see all this all the time in society, that one act or one evil will just keep resonating through our society.
Let me ask you a question, and that is,
Sure. Yeah.
do you dream about these characters?
Sometimes. These characters are happy to interrupt me wherever I am, usually at a totally inconvenient moment. Sometimes when I'm falling asleep, which is okay because I can get up and write myself a note on my cell phone. Sometimes riding a bike, sometimes literally in a meeting. They're things just come, and
It's
you
almost like
have
they're
no.
haunting. It's almost like they're haunting
A
you.
little bit, a little
Yeah,
bit.
right.
And sometimes it's great because it's what I needed to know. It's what was supposed to happen. And all of that will resonate. Okay, we get back and the next day you're at the typewriter or the computer, putting that down, almost not quite dictation, but you know the dialogue, and then you form the descriptives around it. So it's a miraculous process. Don't ask me if I understand it because I do not. It's just
You know
there.
what? It's really funny because I had a nightmare last night. Not last night, the night before. Actually, it was in the morning when I went back to sleep for a little while. And I mean, I could tell you every descriptive part of that. And I wanted to go back to save the child. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping that I go back into the dream again to do it and it's in color. I
Oh,
don't know how I
those
do
are the
it.
vivid ones. Yes, yes,
It's just really vivid.
right.
So let me ask this question. Do you plan to continue the series or do you have other ideas for future novels? And how long
Well,
do you want to write?
I can't help myself. If I was just doing this by myself, the reward for me, and
Mhm.
I hopefully for other authors, is the act of writing itself and creating a coherent novel that works. It's an amazing feeling. And I hate to say it, but I'm really good friends with my characters. I look forward to them. And when I finish a novel, there's this empty space that is it's very strange.
I
It's
know.
like you lost.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
It's like you lost friends. And
Right.
so the rest, the publishing, marketing, uh, broadcasting, etc., is interesting and engaging and sometimes fun, like here.
Mhm.
Um, but you don't get the same joy out of it as you do out of your own creation. So I could just write novels on forever as long as the ideas keep occurring to me. And there have been periods where nothing happened. But I'll just keep writing until I can't. And I
See,
was
that's a nice
fascinated.
thing. That's a nice thing about
Yeah,
it, don't you think, Nelson?
yeah,
Is
yeah,
it doesn't matter how old you are,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
My kids keep on asking me, how long are you gonna work? Well, I love what
Well,
I do.
I live in a
150,
I live in
150, I don't care.
I live in a little town where age is of no object.
That's
Uh,
great.
and I was inspired to some degree. I don't know if you've ever read the Master and Commander series by Patrick O'Brien, but Patrick O'Brien is 20 in his 21st book was still going when he passed away.
Uh,
And if you go read the beginning of that book, it's just as solid and
right.
interesting as all his other 20 books. So if I could do, I'm not going to reach 20 at this age, but I'd be happy to keep going. Let's put it that way.
Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. We've run out of time. I want to invite you back because
Thank
I'll
you.
tell you, I can't wait to read the novel and the series actually. I grew up as a reader, and then when I was in school, I put myself through school at the library. And I love books. I love authors, and I want to capture younger people that will see why it's so important to keep
Life lessons.
right, or life
Yes.
lessons, exactly. And like I said, I want to thank you very much. Where can people actually to read more about you and see where you're going in the
Sure.
future?
I have a website. It's a beginning website, but it's www.allmortalgreatness.com. So feel free to do that. These interviews with Kathryn are inspiring me to have another page in there in which we have links to these interviews. So that's the next attainment, we hope.
Well, I hope you enjoy my book, and it's the series, which I'm getting ready to do the audiobook this week myself.
Great.
Done audiobooks before, so I'm excited about that. But
Super.
I want to thank you so very much for coming on my show and sharing with my listeners and my viewers all about your series and how you came about to do it all and inspire.
Thanks so much. And I hope all your viewers enjoyed this too.
I think so too. So don't forget to go to our website at KathrynRakersWorld.com, where you can find Let's Just Talk and the Chef You and I. We'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Thank you. Look forward to it.